So when is a deal not a deal? When is an agreement just a draft agreement? When is a vote not a vote? So 2 years from triggering Article 50, Parliament is presented with two documents. The 500-page plus document setting out how we go about leaving the EU, and a second political declaration on the future. It's almost as if we have a technical drawing of an EU taxi, which may or may not have 4 wheels, and which all of us, well, some of us, may be able to get out or not. But it's all right, we'll enjoy it. But the big problem is, and it's a very big problem, we have barely a napkin sketch about where we are going. There are stirring fears of cries of no Brexit, no deal. But this House will not allow a no deal. Indeed, after the judgment of the European Court of Justice, we can, unilaterally and without loss of our current arrangements, withdraw the Article 50 notice, a danger which is now described as no Brexit. Once upon a time, no deal was better than a bad deal, and Brexit meant Brexit. Once upon a time, we were told we could have a free trade agreement concluded well before March 2019. Once upon a time, we were told that we would all hold the cards. It will be quick and easy. And once upon a time, the free trade agreement with Europe was going to be the easiest in human history. Yet we are 77 days from leaving the European Union with a deal that cannot win the support of this House, and it faces a perilous position of putting us in no deal. It turns out the statements were just mere assertions, possibly of hope and expectation, but rather than any achievable goal based on fact. Countries across the globe are looking at Britain in despair and saying to the Prime Minister, rule out no Brexit. The vote was not to leave anyway. The vote was based on promises by a Leave campaign which have subsequently turned out to be fairy tales. And now there are cries of, but respect the vote. We can't change our minds no matter how the facts reveal themselves. There is no disrespect in re-evaluating a position or a decision when better information is available. On evidence, we eventually decided the world was not flat and that the earth went around the sun. And the other effect of the deal is, of course, to fuel the cry for the second independence referendum in Scotland. The Tory party, with unionists in this title, are doing more to fracture the union of our 4 nations than anyone else. But on that point, I would make reference to the Right Honourable Member for Ross Skye and Lochaber. In his speech in December, he made a coherent defence of the value of membership of the EU, both in cultural, community and economic terms. One that simply by replacing EU with UK becomes even more valid. But we are faced today with a disingenuous deal, the best described as it's better than no deal. But this is a betrayal of the young people, of our communities, our farmers and our manufacturers in East Lothian. The Prime Minister and others today have indeed said, just people are sick of Brexit, let's get it finished. With all due respect, that's rubbish. My constituents are deeply, deeply concerned about Brexit. They are concerned about this deal and what will follow. They are deeply concerned about the impact of Brexit on their jobs, their security, and most of all, the prospects for the future generations. With Parliament deadlocked, the promises of Leave has proven to be just that, empty promises. It is time to take the decision back and give it to the people in a people's vote. It would appear, if we can't depart on any terms that will not make us poorer, will not make us less secure, will not put at risk peace in the island of Ireland, where political declarations are more akin to the king's clothes, people choose to see what they want. So having been elected to represent my constituents of East Lothian, I say no to this deal. I say no to no deal. I don't have an option of saying yes, but I would say yes to staying in Europe. I would say yes to a people's vote, to let my constituents choose, to choose on the basis of fact, rather than a once-upon-a-time fairy tale. That way, we may all live happily ever after. Thank you.